Likutei Parshas Masei, second column, in middle of the page of the second column, middle of Eis Gimel. Okay, the last thing the Alter Rebbe was explaining that Hashem made yesh mi'ayin, and our job is to make the ayin, the yesh back into an ayin, and that's through Torah mitzvahs, and the mitzvahs are called the limbs of Hashem. Torah is called the food of Hashem, and you have to bring down that level of Elokus all the way down here. And he says that's the same concept as making a bracha before a mitzvah, because, like we say, what is a bracha? Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu, that we bring down the level of Ata into Havaya Elokeinu, that it should be b'chol levavcha, and the entire person, the nafshalakis, nafshabamis. So by baining them, that's what it's all about. By tzaddikim, it's a completely different level. Okay, so we're going to start. If you look on the left side, where on the first column, tzaddik base starts, that's where it is in this column. So he says now, umata muvan in yeridas haneshama b'guf. Now we'll understand the purpose of the neshama coming into the body. We should say the chaliyah behind. Skip the 4 lines. By breaking evil and transforming evil. And he says that's the reason why did Hashem create evil? He says because, like he said before, don't create evil and don't let us not have to elevate evil. He says because through breaking evil, transforming evil, through this you have a tremendously great level, because evil originates in a higher place. That's where it fell lower down here. So down here in the Neshama in the body has an ability to elevate evil, which comes from a higher source than in Gan Eden, and therefore we're able to do it. And that's the Elul of Masei b'nei Yisrael, the journeys of the Yidden. Okay, what does it mean, the journeys of the Yidden? Pirish aliyos mimata l'mayla. The journeys, the Yidden were going from Mitzrayim, and they were going towards Eretz Yisrael. That's from Klipa of Mitzrayim, moving up to Eretz Yisrael. In the pasuk says, "Vayichtav Meishes Metzoei and the Masei." Moshe Rabbeinu wrote they're going out to their travelings. The Inyan Vayichtav. What does it mean he wrote? Spiritually speaking, what does it mean he wrote? The Kamayim Razal. Chisam Meishal Kodesh Baruch Hu Emes. There's a whole Gemara in Gittin, by the way. This is, Alter Rebbe doesn't say it. That Ksiva means Chsima. The Kosev La Sefer Krisis about a get. That you're right. So the Gemara says, Ein Kosev Ela V'Chosav. Sealing. The signature of the witnesses. Or a seal. That's what Chaisim is, a seal. He's saying, Vayichtav Meisha means that Moshe Rabbeinu happened to seal it. And Chaisav Meishal HaKadosh Baruch Hu Emes, it's Emes. Pirush, what does it mean? Chochmah is called Emes. Why? When you understand something, as Emes. That's the Emes, when you understand it. Over there it says that to understand Emes, that the only thing that exists is Hashem, and he says that's the level of Chachma. And he says that's what Nikra Chaisim. It's called the seal Aderech Moshe. HaChaisim Shu Shema Adam. What is this signature? The seal of the signature of a person. We say in Hebrew, give your chsima, means give your John Hancock, means give your signature. What is a signature? You don't engrave a signature. You write a signature, ink and parchment. You sign your name on a paper. Yeah? That signing has nothing to do with you, because it's ink and parchment. It's nothing, the name has nothing to do with you. When you write your name with ink, Shurakasiya Gashmis is only a physical action. It's really nothing to do with yourself. Yet, through signature, you bind your essence to whatever you're signing on. Therefore, it's a very interesting halacha. We once went into, before you used to go America Shlichus, the Bachman got in the summer. So each pair had to go into Rabbi Chodakov. Anyway, so we had to sign a paper, that we're going to do A, B, C, D. So nobody read the paper. So when we went in once, he gave us the paper to sign, and we were about to sign. So he said to us that the Rebbe once told him that before you sign a paper, you have to read it. It's the simple logic. You have to know, you know how many people, you get dintaitas, people that signed on a paper, they didn't realize what they're signing, but meanwhile they signed it. And tough luck, once you signed it, you're binding yourself halachically and legally to what you wrote in the document. So how are you signing without reading the document? See?
Some of these documents are 200 pages.
So when you go to the bathroom, you have what to read. So he says, which is Asiya Gashmis Legabi Ein Baruch. So this Chachma, compared to Hashem, is like Asiya. We say but those are daven already. Kulam b'Chachma Asisa. So simply it means you made everything with wisdom, with Chachma. Chassidus explains Kulam, the whole world, Chachma and Asiya, the highest level and the lowest level are all the same. It's all Kulam, it's all the same thing. The commercial cost of Kulam b'Chachma Asisa. For Rotzin and Nikra Shem. Because Rotzin is called a name because Shmei Bigmatri Rotzin. Shmei name is the same numerical value as the word Rotzin, which means your will. Which means the Chachma Yachesim. Chachma is the level of Chesim, which is the making of the name, the Asiyah of the name. So therefore, Mikama came Kamei Begashmis. Just like in the physical world. HaChesim, when you sign it, Hukiyim al kol davar, is the very validation of everything Shechayiv Atzmei, that you're obligating yourself Kasher Yechten, the way you're signing Shuv and Lishanis, that you can't change it anymore. Once you signed it, it's too late. There's nothing else you can do. Like you said, Ne'ilas Yom Kippur. Like on Ne'ilah Yom Kippur, like this, Aser made Shuv, we say Kosveinu, Kosveinu. But in Ne'ilah we say V'chosmeinu. What does that mean? The Sefer Chaim Parnasa Tevet V'shuv Lo Yeshuna, and therefore you can't change it in the level of Ein Tzal Baruch Hu. Shalamayla Mayla Me'achachma, meaning the highest levels of godliness, infinitely greater than Chachma, come into the level of Chachma. So he's saying, what is Vayichtav Moshe? Moshe revealed and brought down the highest Motza'ayim. But Alter Rebbe explained in the other Maimer, Motza'ayim means the source of where they came out from. The source where they came out from Lamaila, into into the journeys of Momata Lamaila, like you said before, journeys traveling from Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael, you're going Momata Lamaila. So when you're traveling Mata Lamaila, where does the Yid get the koyach? That's what I've explained in the other Maimer. Where do you get the koyach to be able to travel through the Midbar, Nachar Sara V'Akar, this dangerous Midbar, so to speak, to be able to come like Evel Yarden Mizracha, to come to Eretz Yisrael, right? That's only through Vayichtav Moshe Motza'eh. Moshe Rabbeinu revealed the source of the neshama into the neshama, into Masei. V'zel Vayichtav Moshe. Moshe is Shishvina the Malka. Moshe is the accompaniment of the king, and Aaron Shishvina the Matanusa. Aaron is the accompaniment of the queen. Hamala Eisa Ela Chosin. What is the accompaniment of the kala when you go to a wedding, right? So the kala's Shushvinin, they're called the Unterführer, the ones that walk her down, are bringing her to the chosin. Momata Lamaila, the woman is going to the husband. The Yidden are going to Hashem. Ki Aaron Oyamein Alaviyim. Aaron used to wave the Leviyim. V'chein Klos Nishamis Yisrael. Aaron elevated all the neshamas Yisrael, like it said, Ba'aleischa Saneris. When he doesn't say he lit the Neris. Ba'aleischa means aliyah. He elevated the Neris. Meaning, he elevated the Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam, the neshama of every Yid, the Yidden. Adam is called Ner Hashem. Ve'echen aliyasim, where did Aaron HaKohen elevate them to? Admol Pnei HaMenera. Facing the Menera, the source of the Ner. What's the source of the Ner? The Menera. Moshe Rabbeinu was the Shvina of the king. Himshech Ein Tzav Baruch Hu Momayla Lamata. Brought Elokus from higher to lower. Okay, the king doesn't go anywhere. You have to bring the king's edicts, the king's decrees, the king's things to the people. That's Moshe Rabbeinu's function. In other words, Alter Rebbe is saying like this: Masei is Mamata L'mayla. Mamata L'mayla is the level of Aaron HaKohen. Korbanis are Mamata L'mayla. Moshe Rabbeinu is Torah. Torah, we learned, is bringing Elokus Momayla Lamata. When you learn Torah, you're bringing infinite wisdom of Hashem into a puny, foolish, stupid, idiotic head. And we're bringing godly wisdom Momayla Lamata. But first you have Tefillah, which is Momata Lamayla. And then afterwards you can have Torah to bring Momayla Lamata. So he says that's the Avodah of Aaron in the Masois. But Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron HaKohen's Avodah was to bring the Yidden al Mopnei HaMenera. And then Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that brought down the highest level of Elokus to the Yidden. And that's why the pasuk concludes, by the way, Eila Masei, because we're on Monday night in the class. But the Alter Rebbe asked us in a previous mimer. The pasuk changes the order. It said, "Vayichtev Moshe es motza'ehem l'maaseihem, ve'ela maaseihem l'motza'ehem." Why does he switch the order? So the Rebbe explains, because this is exactly what it's all about. In the masois of the Yid, right? The neshama comes down to go through the midbar from the time they're born, which is going out of Mitzrayim, until they pass away, which is Mevel Yadim Mizracha. They come to Eretz Yisrael, so they have all these journeys, Momata L'mayla, okay? But where does he? And he asked before, what's the purpose of it? And the answer is because to go higher than the neshama was before. Okay, so that's what the pasuk says. The Alter Rebbe explains. Vayichtav Moshe Rabbeinu brought down as motza'ehem, the source of the neshama, into the level of the neshama in the journeys, meaning the neshama in the body, and through this, ela maseihem, through the journeys, you come back limotzaehem, back to the source where you came from, and even higher.
Ultimately, isn't it the first everything comes from up there anyway?
In order for us to travel, it has to be Vayichtav Moshe. You got to come Vayikral Moshe. You got to be the Gilum Omayla. So bottom line of the page. Kach Moshe Amanig Am Shachas is Galus Elokus. What does Moshe Rabbeinu do? Moshe Rabbeinu reveals Elokus into the world. Or like we learned in Vata Tetzava, Moshe Rabbeinu reveals, internalizes the level of Das, Emunah, and all that stuff. L'chein Vayichtav Moshe. Because Moshe Rabbeinu is a level of Chachma. Like it says, Vayarei Shisloi. By Moshe Rabbeinu over there, at the end of Vayzei Bracha. Vayarei Shisloi, he saw the head, Reishis is Chachma, and Kach Kosav Chesam Shal Kodesh Baruch Emes. What is Emes? Gili Ein Sof Sheba Chachma, the Gili of Ein Sof in Chachma. Again, like he quoted before in Alter Rebbe in Tanya, in the Haggadah over there, it says, "Shohu levadihu ve'ein zulasei," which is emes. That ehu levadihu ve'ein zulasei, v'zui madreges ha'chochma. Moshe Rabbeinu's level of chochma, Moshe Rabbeinu's level of emes, Moshe emes v'tirasi emes, because Moshe Rabbeinu brings down the level of emes.
Before we learn, when we say that Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron are there is no chance for chametz, or there is no chance for klipa?
First of all, chametz is klipa and klipa is chametz. What's the difference?
So over here it says that the reason the next servant to klipa is turning to 12.
Yeah.
So when there is Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron, there is what is the presence of klipa? There is no klipa.
Sure is this klipa. Just in by the Gilu in Mitzrayim, the stuff couldn't be chametz. Afterwards, in the midbar 40 years, of course it'd be able to come chametz.
Even in the presence of Moshe Rabbeinu.
Yeah. Because Avodah is for us to do it. In Moshe Rabbeinu's world, in Aaron and Kohen's world, there is no klipa. In a Tzaddik Gomer's world, there is no klipa, except it says that in Chassidus it brings down from earlier yet that the Arizal used to say Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu. So the question is, the Arizal didn't Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu. So he said because he was in Neshama Kloli, because he's a Rebbe and Neshama Kloli, he has all the neshamas within him, so when another Jew sins, it affects him too. Or as the Pasuk says clearly in Kisisa, after the Egel Hashem said, Lech Reid, Kishiche Samcha, what's the double expression, Lech Reid? Go down. So go down. Either go or go down. So Rashi quotes in the Medrash, Lech Reid Megdulascha Klum Nasati L'cha Gedula El B'Shvil Yisrael. Go down, number one, simply get out of here, go down from the mountain. And secondly, you lost your Gedula. I gave you Kedusha and Gedula because of the Yidden. They don't have it, you don't have it either. So Moshe Rabbeinu has the level of Klipa not mitzad himself, because of somebody else. Therefore it says in Tanya, don't be a shaiter to think that I can elevate my machshava zaris, I can elevate all those things. He says, if you're dragged in the mud, how do you think you can elevate? Don't be a shaiter to think that I can elevate my evil to Kedusha. He said, you're full of mud, and you're going to elevate that to Kedusha. But a Rebbe could. A Rebbe has the ability, that's what it says in the books, and we see it. A Rebbe has an ability to elevate Shalosh Klibus Atmeis. But like, that's why we learned many times, it says in Chassidus Sfarim, so to speak, why did Adam Rishon sin? Adam Rishon thought that the Yitzir Kap of Shal Kadosh Baruch Hu, Adam Rishon was super great. He thought that even though the Eitz Adas, the Shalosh Klibus Atmeis, he thought he's a Rebbe, he could elevate it. What was the problem? The Gemara says in Erevin, Adam Rishon Chassid Gadol Haya. And that was his sin. When a Chassid, he thought he was a Rebbe, that he can elevate Klip, Shoshim Tzatmeis. The Gemara says, Chassid Gadol Haya. He was a great Chassid, but not a Rebbe. In other words, when you think you could do what you can't, it causes Eitz Adas. If you take, that's the simple shot in the puzzle. But if you take also, what was the Egel? The whole source of the Egel? He didn't start worshipping idols. Why did they make an Egel? Ki zeh meisha ish asher lanu me'eretz Mitzrayim lo yadanu mahoyaloi. We don't know what happened to this Moshe Rabbeinu. Let's make an Egel to replace Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah? What did that cause? The Egel Azov, B'yom Pakti Pakadati, which like we learned, redid the Eitz Adas, as far as Tumah in the world. What did it start from? From doubting Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu left, we don't know where he is. That's the cause of the Egel.
Hypothetically, had he not gone up to them for 40 days,
If my grandmother would be a covered wagon, no meluzvas. If. But that wasn't the plan.
But Rabbi Egel was not against the God, it was against Moshe.
Yeah, but then they said, Eila Lokecha Yisrael. What did they say by the Egel? This is your God.
Well, they changed the word.
It's because when you start up against Moshe Rabbeinu, you start up against the Eibishter. Start against Hashem. Okay, weiter.
What was the point of signature in all this?
To bring it down. To bring down the seal of Hashem is emes. So Moshe Rabbeinu is the purpose, the function of a Moshe Rabbeinu. It says in Chumash. The purpose of Moshe Rabbeinu is to, as it's called in Chassidus and in the Medrash, Mamutza Mechaber. Moshe Rabbeinu was the intermediary that connected Hashem and the Jews. That was his function. To bring Elokus, Lahagid Lochem as Dvar Hashem, to tell you what Hashem wants you to do. That's the role of a Rebbe, to tell us what Hashem wants. So Moshe Rabbeinu was the level of the intermediary to bring the word of Hashem down to the Yid. And what Hashem is emes. So Moshe Rabbeinu, Vayichtav Moshe, he signed, meaning the emes, he brought it down into the Yidden, the koyach of ein eid mulvadei, hu levadei hu ve'ein zulasei, and that gives the Yid, the koyach, when the Yid feels this essence of the neshama within them, that gives him the koyach to travel through the 30, 42 journeys without getting affected. That's why he wrote it down. I mean, he brought down into the Jew this momayla lamata, he brought it down this level of kedusha. First he needed Aaron to make the Jews a vessel for that level of revelation. So Aaron was Shvina de Matronusa, the accompaniment of the queen, Mamata Lamayla, bringing the queen, the Kala to the Chasun, and then you have the Gilu Mamayla.
Rabbi, is there a difference between the vessel and the klipa? Are they the same? When you say create a vessel to hold the kedusha, is it the same as?
No, klipa is not. We have to make klipa a vessel for kedusha. In other words, permissible things that we're allowed to utilize, eat, drink, benefit from, right? That's klipas noiga. So that klipas noiga is up to a Jew to make that klipas noiga holy, a vessel for elokus. By elevating the spark of kedusha that's in it, that's not bound to the evil. It's there, but it's loose, it's mutar, it's untied, meaning it's loose, we can elevate it. Shosh Kibbutz Tameis, as of now, we're not able to make that a vessel for elokus because it cannot be elevated. Until Ruach HaTumah Avim Min HaAretz, the Ruach HaTumah will take removed from the world, or as Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, and when he speaks about Tshuva over there at the beginning of Tanya, he says, or when Zdain is Nasa Leikazachias, if you have the level of Tshuva, like Rabbi Loza ben Dodaya, you know, that Tshuva, that makes the Avedis into mitzvahs, so then the level of about Tshuva can transform evil into Kedusha. That's really hard to do, okay? That's Rabbi Loza ben Dodaya's level, okay, things like that. But a Rebbe is able to elevate Shosh Kibbutz Tameis to Kedusha.
So he doesn't need a klipa. He doesn't need the vessel.
He needs us to have a vessel. He is the elokus. He needs us to make a vessel for that level of elokus that he's bringing down. So he says, Zeo ke'ein. No, I'm sorry. Second line on top of Tzadik Beis. V'him shechlazel lamata Moshe Rabbeinu brought it down here. Lias b'em koach lalis al Hashem mimata lamayla, to elevate. Why? Ki iyev shoya lehem la'adas alis tchila ba'atzmam, because a Jew cannot have the journeys mimata lamayla without, like the Gemara says, Malei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ezrei. The pasuk says until in Sefer Rosh Hashanah Mevakesh Masei, Hashem le'yazvenu biyadei. Right? That's the pasuk until. But the Gemara says Sefer Rosh Hashanah Mevakesh Masei. The Rosh Hashanah wants to kill the nefesh l'kis. The Malei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ezrei. If Hashem wouldn't give him the koyach momayla to overcome the Yetzer Hara, he wouldn't be able to. So what's the inyan of the journeys? The journeys is to Milmata Lamaila, to go from Mitzrayim to higher than you were even before you came down here. So where do you get the koyach to do it? If not, without Moshe Rabbeinu, if Hashem wouldn't give us the koyach to do it, which Moshe Rabbeinu, as like he said before, Shushvina the Malka accompanying the Melech means he brings down the Lukus down here, we wouldn't be able to overcome the journeys.
ושכל